Is Hypixel Skyblock dying? I really hope it isn't, but let's get into why people might think so. The number of players playing on Hypixel and Hypixel Skyblock have been going down for a little while, but there are actually some genuine reasons why this could be happening that would be different than just, oh, the game's dying. Right now, you're looking at a website that tracks the players of Hypixel, and you can see, actually, in the last 7 days, number of players has gone up, probably considering this is the weekend, and during the weekday, people are more likely to be in school and less likely to be playing Hypixel. So right now, 78,000 players online, that is pretty good. But if we go to a year ago, we were more likely to see something like 160,000, which is far off of the current 96,000, 94,000, 107,000 that we're seeing in more recent times. So why is this compared to a year ago? Let's look at a further expanded view. If we look at the past 4 years, this can actually show relatively meaningful information. If we look at all time, going back to when this started tracking in 2015, we can see some really interesting information. During the summer months, the player count tends to be higher. So you see, starting in May and then going into June, we suddenly see a huge influx of players for the summer months. Then once it goes back to September, things start to calm down. October, November, December, things spike a little bit in December, clearly because of Christmas, and then things go back down a little bit. And then we see a massive peak right as quarantine starts in March. Suddenly things shoot up and 100,000 days become the norm. Now we are seeing massive things all throughout even the start of summer and the school year during 2020. And as you can see, when the school year starts in mid-August and September, it goes down. There's a pretty clear drop there from the summer months to the school year. And as you know, we're currently in the school year. But things continue to grow, because there will always be holidays. Spike there for Thanksgiving, and then big spikes happened around Christmas, right here 112,000 players to 127,000 players, because this is when the Dante event started to happen. If we look at this time, with this being the Technoblade fight with Dante, this was all when Dante was mayor. Player count was at an all-time high for Hypixel and Hypixel Skyblock. So that's pointing to the fact that updates and having interesting new events in the game could probably help make a big difference. But since we're now looking at this as comparing it to now, we can see that that can also cause some problems. After this all ended and spring break was ending for a lot of people, player count started to go down again, even though it was the summer months. There just wasn't as much interesting stuff happening, and fewer updates were coming out. And that really took its toll when the school year started and the count dropped even more. We saw only minimal jumps in Christmas, only going back barely to reaching what we got last summer. And things have only sort of stayed the same as they were this Christmas. At least things aren't going down as much anymore. So is the player count down? Yes. But is the game dying? No. Let's look at Google Trends and look up Hypixel Skyblock. If we go to YouTube search over the past 12 months, Hypixel Skyblock has definitely declined, but it's overall down much less than other things. This shows that people are still watching Hypixel Skyblock content, with the mean here being relatively the same. Obviously nowhere near where they were when the game first came out, but viewers of the game and searches for it on YouTube have stayed relatively the same. I believe this points to a problem with the game's core audience, which is mostly kids. Kids have this thing called school, which can be inconvenient for games like Hypixel Skyblock, because when they have school, they're less likely to be playing Hypixel Skyblock. That's why we've seen on those player graphs times that would be important for kids, like a winter break or a spring break or Christmas time or Thanksgiving, have bigger increases in players. Especially during the summer month, at least for the American school system, we get huge amounts of influxes of players to Hypixel Skyblock. But there is a positive side to that, since the YouTube view results and search results have not gone down altogether that much. This points that people are still interested in the game. They're still watching content about the game, but they just don't have time to play themselves. So I don't think Hypixel Skyblock is dying. I just think that combined with a lack of updates and kids not having as much time to play the game, considering schools are going back in person and kids are doing more stuff in person, considering we're not as much quarantined as we were in that earlier time. But the game isn't dying. Kids are still watching it, and there's still things happening, but without major updates or events to keep the player base involved, people just aren't playing the game as much. So I really hope the Hypixel Skyblock admins see results like these as well. I assume they are also looking at these trends and thinking about how they could boost it, and I really hope they look into doing more stuff like more events in the future, because honestly, that was some of the most fun I've had playing Hypixel Skyblock when those events were happening. So yeah, I really hope more of those happen because they're really awesome and interesting. So yeah, what do you guys think? Hypixel Skyblock dying or not? Let me know. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.